So what is this secret health hijacker? I'm talking about parasites. And in my opinion, it's one of the biggest undiagnosed health problems that exist today. It might seem like it's straight out of Hollywood, but what you're about to hear is 100% true. Research shows that 9 out of 10 people are infected with parasites, and most of them don't even know it. Even if you're clean, eat healthy, and take good care of your body, chances are you're still walking around with parasites in your system.
It's nearly impossible not to. If you've ever drank tap water,
Grabbed a doorknob, or walked barefoot in the grass, chances are you're already infected. I'll show you exactly where those little suckers hide in just a minute, and why they might be the real reason for nagging health issues like fatigue, weight gain, or memory problems. And of course, leaky gut. But before I do, I have to warn you. What you're about to hear might make you feel a bit queasy. It may even gross you out. But if I don't tell you about it, who will? You won't hear about it from your doctor. They don't learn about it in medical school. Mainstream medicine won't tell you either. And why would they? They're too busy stuffing their pockets with your hard-earned money. They'd rather close up shop and run to Alaska before they tell anything about a natural remedy that actually works. Now, before you say, I can't possibly have parasites, hear me out. These are the hard facts. Parasites aren't just a third world problem. They're also a first world problem. And we have them right here in the good old US of A. Make no mistake, there are plenty of ways regular people can get infected. Tap water can contain Giardia, which is the most common parasite in the US. It's difficult to detect, and it's so small it slips through most filters. To get rid of it, you need to boil your water for at least a minute to kill it. Food is another way you can get infected. Meat, fish, and pork can have flatworms, roundworms, or even tapeworms. Your food needs to be fully cooked to destroy them, which means medium done or rare meat is a problem. Oh, and so is sushi. Pinworms are another common type of parasite in the US. They're especially common in daycares and schools, and they happen because little kids aren't great at hygiene. They tend to touch their anal area and then touch everything else around them, especially when they have a constant itch. If you live or work with kids or simply touch any surface they do, you can get infected. Which brings me to pets. Are you a pet owner, or do you know someone who has a pet?
dogs carry Toxocara cati.
It's a roundworm that spends its entire life roaming through your body, boring holes in any organ it runs into. If you have a cat, you get a 2-for-1 deal.
Because they carry both Toxocara cati
And Toxoplasmosis gondii. Ever seen your dog drag their butt on the carpet? Yep. Unless you deworm your pet every 3 months, you can be pretty sure they've just given you the gift that keeps on giving. And then there's crypto. No, not cryptocurrency, but Cryptosporidium. According to the CDC, crypto outbreaks are increasing by about 13% each year. An infected person can produce millions of these microscopic eggs, but it only takes a few dozen eggs for us to get infected. And these eggs are tough. They're found in pool water, and as long as they don't get dried out, they can live for years. Yep, you heard that right. I said years. That's because even chlorine can't kill them. Crypto is even smaller than Giardia, so filters that were designed for Giardia won't get rid of them. Now, I know this may sound a little scary, and perhaps it is because parasites are the ultimate predator. They can jump from host to host without you knowing. They trick your body into giving them what they need to survive, and they can hide in your body for years without you noticing a single thing. So how can you tell if you have parasites? Well, first of all, don't rush to the toilet. Most parasites aren't even visible to the naked eye, and some only shed their eggs every few days. So you might not see them in your stool right away. But don't rush off to the doctor, because those tests at the doctor's office aren't much better. Would you believe they're not sensitive enough to pick up most parasites? You'd need to bring in your stool sample 7 days in a row just to be sure. And before you ask the doctor for a prescription, there's something else you should know. Those expensive antiparasitics might not even work. That's because, just like what's happened with bacteria and antibiotics, many parasites have developed a resistance to even our strongest drugs. So it's a real mess. And if you do decide to take what your doctor gives you, watch out. It could make things worse. Sure, they might kill some of your parasites, but they'll kill the good bacteria right along with them. So you could end up even sicker than before. And that brings me to the most important part. You can be sick as a dog, and your doctor may not have a clue that it's all due to parasites. That's because the symptoms of parasites look a lot like many common health issues. Take diarrhea, for example. Some parasites make a chemical that lowers your sodium and chloride levels. Sodium and chloride are electrolytes that help balance the amount of fluid in your body. When that's disrupted, you might seesaw from constipation to diarrhea, often on the same day. Other parasites lodge themselves way up in your small intestine. That can lead to inflammation, which can cause smelly gas and uncomfortable bloating. Of course, if parasites are too big, they can actually block your intestinal tract. That can make it difficult for you to pass a bowel movement. Plus, over time, your bowels might become irritated and inflamed, making it hard for you to absorb nutrients and fats. If you've ever had those weird stools that float on top of the water, then you've experienced this. The reason they do that is because they're full of fat. But here's the disturbing thing: parasites don't just hang out in your intestines. They can travel anywhere in your body. They can settle into your joints and your muscles and eat the tissue. You might notice a painful, swollen bump that doesn't go away, or you might develop swelling and inflammation that look a lot like arthritis, but are actually due to damage caused by the parasite. And then there are allergies. Some types of parasites eat at the lining of your intestines. That creates little tears and holes, which in turn cause what's called leaky gut. It's called that because the tears and holes allow toxins and large, undigested particles of food to slip into your blood. At the same time, the enzymes your body uses to break down undigested food can also end up outside your gut. And that's not food for your body. Once there, the enzymes activate your immune system,
triggering dangerous inflammation that can harm your body.
But that's not all, because the gut affects your entire body. Gut problems can cause headaches, rashes, fatigue, brain fog, even anxiety and depression. The list goes on and on. Parasites can get under your skin and cause rashes that won't go away. They can wear down your immune system, so you catch every virus or cold that's going around. And they can rob you of all the proteins, fats, and carbohydrates your body needs. So you may feel tired and crave carbs or sugar even after eating a full meal. Parasites can even affect your mood. Here's how they do it. They release toxins that destroy certain parts of your brain. Then, they hijack other areas of your brain, forcing it to create the neurotransmitters they need to survive. Parasites can literally rewire your brain and make you feel anxiety, depression, or anger. And in some rare instances, parasites have even caused some people to become suicidal. Now, you might not believe a parasite could drive a person to hurt themselves, but we can see this type of dangerous behavior in rats. You see, rats get infected by a parasite called Toxoplasma gondii, or toxo for short. Toxo is a parasite that's normally found in cats. But when rats eat something that's contaminated with cat faces, they get infected with toxo. Now here's where things get really weird. Scientists discovered that once toxo makes it to the rat's brain, it actually changes the way the rat's brain works. Instead of being terrified when it smells cat pee, the rat actually stops being afraid, so it doesn't run away. Here's where things get even stranger. In male rats, there's a specific part of the brain that's responsible for sexual behavior. Normally, it only lights up when they see a female rat, but this devious little parasite changes that. And here's what happens. First, the rat's brain tells them, you smell a cat, but he's not dangerous. And second, their brain also tells them that cat is a potential mate. So they run straight towards it, which is completely crazy. Now, if toxo can cause a rat to commit suicide, then it can cause a human to do some pretty strange things too. For example, a professor out of Stanford University found people with toxo are 3 to 4 times more likely to die in an accident. They had slower reaction times and were more impulsive. Plus, they were more likely to engage in risky behaviors like speeding. And like most people infected with parasites, they had no clue they were infected. Another study went even further. It found men with toxo were more distrustful of authority, more jealous, and more likely to engage in rule bending and breaking. So even though it might seem like parasites can't affect you, you could end up having dangerous habits that could kill you. But that's not all. The CDC even found that tapeworms can spread cancer and cause you to grow tumors. Look, I get this is scary, but the evidence is clear. If you leave these unwelcome guests in your body, things aren't going to get better. They're just going to get worse. And the parasites, well, they're not going to stop growing. Unless you do something about it, they're just going to keep getting bigger and bigger. Fortunately, there's an ancient remedy that's been used for thousands of years to get rid of parasites and keep them gone.